Hey guys, what you're about to listen to is a clip taken from the 180 podcast where we were talking about the trade between the Pirates and the Rays. Hope you enjoy.
The most one-sided trade, in my opinion, in recent history, but also in MLB history. And it also involves the Tampa Bay Rays, so it makes me really happy to say Chris Archer, it's between the Rays and the Pirates. I think everybody knows already. It's Chris Archer for Tyler Glasnow, Austin Meadows, and Shane Baz. Now, this was such an amazing trade from the get-go. And my sister and I, we were sad to see Archer go because he's such a clubhouse guy. But at the same time, he just hadn't been producing.
Fun fact, I met Chris Archer at Chipotle once. That is all.
Hey, that's awesome. He's a man at Chipotle. But he had always been trade talks, since probably year 3. Because the Rays obviously weren't going to be able to afford him. But then they had actually given him a contract, and he had taken a nice team-friendly deal, but I think it's mostly because he hadn't performed to the level at which everyone expected. In his early years, he had a few great seasons, amazing seasons, but it always seemed as if he was trying to live up to those few seasons. And he had the injury bug here and there, but at the same time, he always was a man of promise, and he wouldn't be bad, he just wouldn't be great. And that's what everyone expected him to be. He was the ace of the Rays, but every single year it just seemed like there was another pitcher that was the actual ace, and he was the, de facto ace just because of who he was. But I was ready for a trade. And I was ready for a big trade because it always seems like it was coming. It seemed like it was coming for the last 5 years. But I never thought we'd get such an amazing haul. I remember thinking that I wanted the Rays to get Jameson Taillon at the time because it just seemed like he was better. But then I looked into the stats, and Tyler Glasnow, he was younger, and although he wasn't performing in the majors, it just his stuff was nasty. And then all the underlying numbers were just in his favor. So at that point, I said, okay, the Rays are smarter than I. The Rays did more research than I, and they got this amazing player in Tyler Glasnow. And this was a home run from the get-go. And when it was announced, it was just Chris Archer for Tyler Glasnow and Austin Meadows with a player to be named later. And that player to be named later ended up being Shane Baz, who, he's not in the majors yet. He's in single A right now. But that dude is nasty. And when he comes up, he will be a stud. And I'll talk about him later. I'll talk about it right now. He's only 20 years old. He's currently in single A, but his stuff is amazing. Obviously, he's young, single A. He doesn't have the greatest control yet, so his ERA numbers are kind of high. They're in the 4s, the 3s, the 4s, which isn't terrible. But once he gets control of his amazing arsenal, he'll be a great pitcher in the near future for the Rays. He'll think of David Price in 07-08 when he was a relief pitcher, and he was just lights out. I think that's who Shane Baz could be. He could be a starting pitcher, but I see him as this amazing generational closer, hopefully. Obviously, I'm hyping him up without him proving much, but I got to be hopeful. I'm a Rays fan. But yeah, let's go to the marquee talents of the trade. Tyler Glasnow. Dude. This man was absolutely lights out when he was healthy. And in the beginning of the season when he was healthy, he was the leader in Cy Young for the Cy Young Award. Before, if he hadn't gotten hurt, he, I think, would have ran away with the Cy Young this season. Now, okay, it's a limited sample size, but Tyler Glasnow finished with a 1.78 ERA in 60 innings. He struck out 76 pitchers in those 60 innings, and he only walked 14. His whip was 0.86, and he didn't play against no scrubs. He was playing against the Yankees. He was playing against the Red Sox. He was playing against the Astros. Now, we know what the Astros did to him in the postseason the second time they saw him. But, they just took advantage of him. He's a young pitcher, tipping pitches. It happens. Unfortunately, the Rays couldn't come back. I think the Rays would have won the World Series had he not tipped those pitches, had they won that game. If it was a 7-game series, I think the Rays would have destroyed the Astros, destroyed the Yankees, destroyed the Nationals. I digress. We're not talking about what ifs. We're talking about what happened. The Rays got Tyler Glasnow. This man has always been a strikeout machine, and he's, you know, in the beginning with the Pirates, he walked quite a bit, but he's limited his walks completely now. And I think it's not even, the Rays didn't change him in terms of his stuff. They changed him in terms of his confidence. Because with the Pirates, he had lost that confidence. He just wasn't the man that he could have been. He always had that amazing fastball. And, you know, the Rays, they develop great pitchers all the time. And when Glasnow came to the Rays, I believe he was talking to Blake Snell. And when talking to Blake Snell, he realized that all he needed was confidence in himself. That's how Blake Snell got the Cy Young. Blake Snell was always a great pitcher too, but the Rays instilled that confidence in him. And, you know, they tweaked a little thing here and there, but they developed such a great attitude and great pitchers. And so him coming to Tampa Bay has not only revitalized his career, but it's also just a mental switch for a stud like him. And hopefully he can get a clean bill of health next season, win that Cy Young. The Rays have 3 Cy Young contenders on one team.